I remember way back when everything was true, and then we would have such a very good time, such a fine time, such a happy time. And I remember how we played Simply Wish the Day Away, then we'd say nothing would come between us. Two dreamers. Father wears his Sunday best. Mother's tired, she needs a rest. The kids are playing up downstairs. Sister's sighing in her sleep. Brother's got a date to keep, he can't hang around. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house was our castle and our keep. Our house in the middle of our street. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting episode of the Unrelenting Alchemist, all spiritual all the time. We want to talk about Sylphium, the plant of the gods. In the arid lands of ancient Cyrenaica in modern-day Libya, a plant once grew that was said to be the gift of the very gods. This plant, known as Sylphium, occupied a place of extraordinary reverence in antiquity. Described by Herodotus, praised by Hippocrates, and catalogued by Pliny the Elder, Sylphium was used for medicine, perfume, food, and love, even for divine rituals. Its extinction around the 1st century Common Era marked the tragic end of one of the most mysterious and celebrated flora in all of human history. We're looking for the identity of Sylphium. What exactly was it? Sylphium's botanical identity is lost to history. They speculate it may have been a species within the Apiaceae family, making it a relative of fennel, parsley, and even carrot. Some believe it was closely related to the modern giant fennel, the Ferula communis, while others proposed extinct or undiscovered varieties such as Ferula druidiana. The plant had a very thick stalk, golden flowers, a pungent sap, and produced heart-shaped seeds, a feature that some believe is the origin of the modern symbol we use every day as a symbol of love. Imagine that. So let's talk about its mythological origins and its divine associations. According to ancient lore, Silphium was not merely a plant, but it was a divine gift from the Greek gods. The people of Cyrene believed Apollo, god of healing and prophecy, smiled upon their land and blessed it with this miraculous herb. Aphrodite, goddess of love, was also closely linked with Silphium due to its reputed use as both a contraceptive and as well as an aphrodisiac. In one myth, Silphium was said to have emerged from the tears of the earth after Mother Gaia was moved by the plight of women suffering through childbirth and unwanted pregnancies. Its golden sap, called Laserpecium, was said to hold life-giving and life-limiting power because it was able to balance choices between fertility and restraint. From a luxury spice to a medical cure-all, Silphium was produced, and it was coveted all throughout the ancient world, and it occupied an essential place in the export economy of ancient Cyrene. The mysterious extinction of the Silphium plant in the 1st century CE leaves us with little evidence as to the exact nature of this important agricultural product. In this video, we're going to look at a historical background of how Cyrene produced psyllium, what was the nature of the Silphium plant, and how it was consumed and traded, and so forth. We're going to talk about possible cause of extinction considered in the context of plant genetics where Silphium is concerned, and the biometrics as well as the biochemistry. We're going to look at how modern studies have conducted even possible living relatives of this plant that can inform us about claims by the ancient authors as to the medical uses of the Silphium plant, including its use as a contraceptive as an abortifacient. And finally, we're going to look at methods for recovering Sylphium as many scientists investigate. Is it possible to bring this extinct flora back to life? There was some that even looked at a plant that was in modern-day Libya that they believed that maybe could be used to reconstruct ancient Sylphium, that ancient DNA may be able to establish the genetic makeup of this so elusive plant that is lost to humanity. But many in the scientific community shot down this theory about the plant outside of Libya and felt that the researchers were off the mark and that Silphium is going to still have to remain an undiscovered mystery. Silphium has a certain amount of medical versatility. It had a reputation as a panacea, making it one of the most sought-after remedies in the Greco-Roman world. Ancient physicians, including Hippocrates and Galen, praised the abilities of Silphium. And as I mentioned again and again, I think this bears repeating, the contraceptive and abortifacient properties, taken in small doses, it was believed to prevent conception. When consumed in higher doses, it could even induce menstruation or abortion, offering ancient women a rare form of reproductive control. There also was its connection to how it could help with the common cold and any respiratory relief. Mixed in warm beverages, Silphium sap soothed sore throats, eased coughs, reduced inflammation, and it functioned like modern-day cough syrups as well as decongestants. In terms of a digestive aid, Silphium alleviated indigestion. It eliminated bloating and even eased stomach cramps. Its use was often taken after heavy meals, functioning similarly to antacids. It also had antiparasitic and antiseptic qualities. It was applied to wounds and used to expel parasites from the digestive tract. It also helped with eye and skin infections. Silphium's antimicrobial properties were noted in ancient pharmacopoeias for treating ulcers, rashes, and even infections. It was also a culinary delight, and Silphium had a magical and divine way of enhancing food. Silphium was more than just medicine, it was a delicacy. Roman and Greek chefs alike used it in sauces, soups, and even meat dishes. A common recipe involved mixing Silphium sap with vinegar, garlic, and wine to create a rich umami glaze for roasted meats and fish. Its flavor was described as a cross between leeks, garlic, and asafoetida, which had a resinous pungency. Ancient texts also mention its inclusion in pickled vegetables and lentil stews, making it an essential item in the households of the rich and famous. Silphium also was used for perfume and cologne. Silphium's fragrant sap, Azadirachtium, was used in perfume oils, incense, and sacred ointments. In temples, it was burned alongside frankincense in ceremonies dedicated to Aphrodite and Apollo. The upper echelons of society, the nobles, the courtesans, the oracles, used it as cologne or hair balm, believing it enhanced mystical allure as well as divine favor. Pliny the Elder weighed in on Silphium as well at some point in time. In his natural history work, Pliny the Elder lamented the loss of Silphium. The only one stalk of Silphium was found in living memory and sent to Emperor Nero as a curiosity. Pliny had described the plant's wide uses and bemoaned humanity's failure to conserve it properly and to not abuse and exhaust this wonderful divine herb. He regarded it as a miracle of nature and a cautionary tale of overexploitation and exhaustion of resources. It also appeared on ancient coins. Silphium was so important to the economy of Cyrene that it was minted onto coins. These coins featured the heart-shaped Silphium seeds, the stylized stalks, the depictions of Silphium plants with branching leaves. Coins from Cyrene and Barca, which are now in modern Libya, have debated between the 6th and 3rd centuries BCE, showing that Silphium's botanical prominence and economic centrality was a big factor in merchants and trade at that time. So let's talk about the spiritual significance and its esoteric legacy. Spiritualists and mystics today regard Silphium as a sacred lost plant of divine origin. It is associated with the divine feminine, with sacred sexuality, as well as cosmic healing. Some claim its memory survives in dreams as well as channelings, and many viewed it as a plant spirit ally similar to ayahuasca or blue lotus. In esoteric traditions, Silphium is sometimes envisioned as an herb of third eye activation. We're talking about something different from Harataki now, right? And it aids clarity, psychic sensitivity, as well as fertility magic. In terms of being a imaginable sort of increase to the economy, it was a powerhouse, and it resulted in a market bubble, actually, of its time. Because in this region of Greek colonies along North Africa's Mediterranean coast, including Cyrene and Barca and Berenice and Apollonia, it was almost the backbone of the economy of these city-states. It came to be I can't even speak today. Came to be exported to Athens, Rome, Egypt, and Carthage. The plant was state regulated, cultivated by special guilds, and transported in sealed amphorae. The single plant economy was inflated to the point of utter dependency and speculative value. When Silphium became rare, prices skyrocketed, and adulterated versions of the sap began circulating, a bubble not unlike the tulip mania that is known of history past, or our modern day booms in cryptocurrency. What are the reasons for its disappearance? Well, as we've mentioned, Silphium's extinction is clearly a result of overusing our resources, environmental, economic, and many factors that just did not look to preserve this rare flora, which should not have gone extinct. What about land overgrazing? You have livestock that may have trampled wild Silphium habitats. Climate change, shifts in North American rainfall, and aridity affected the native growth in the places where it could very well grow in certain types of soil. There was also a strong inability to cultivate. It was not easy to domesticate this particular plant. Ancient records say it refused to grow anywhere but in its native soil. In terms of the last known use, I did mention earlier that it was known in Nero's time, and that according to Pliny the Elder, the last stalk was found during the reign of Emperor Nero, 37 to 68 CE, and it was presented to him as a curiosity. He reportedly ate it, and marking the final known human interaction with this sacred herb. Could Silphium be rediscovered in this modern era? Modern botanists have theorized that Silphium may still exist in remote, uncultivated areas of Libya or Turkey. A promising candidate, Ferula druidiana, found in Anatolia, shares several key characteristics with the legendary reported uses of Silphium, including an aromatic sap and therapeutic resin. However, no definitive match has been conferred by scientists at this point. In other words, it's not clear whether or not its legend greatly exceeded what it actually could do, and there's no actual confirmation that this particular strain of species is able to do all the things that Silphium was known to do. In terms of climatic reengineering, there are people who are looking to undertake ways to stimulate the environment and the habitat so as to make it become more conducive to being grown in areas that it never was known in. But it was definitely more expensive than silver by weight. A single scruple, 1.3 grams of its sap, could cost a denarius, which equivalent to today's modern day wage for a skilled laborer. Well, let's break it down. In today's currency, one scruple of Silphium equals $300 to $500 United States dollars. 1 kilogram of Silphium was 230,000 to 385,000 US dollars. Its rarity and spiritual allure would likely make it priceless in modern luxury, herbal, and spiritual markets, comparable to white truffles, to saffron, or even endangered tonics. What about its relatedness to fennel? Well, Sylphium's closest surviving relatives are fennel and asafoetida, which is hing. This asafoetida is known as the poor man's Sylphium in modern terms, and while it's useful, it doesn't quite possess the breadth of Sylphium's mythic powers. Neither does fennel. In conclusion, it's a lost treasure of the ancient world. Silphium remains a botanical mystery wrapped in spiritual, economic, and cultural significance. It was a sacred healer. It was a culinary treasure. It was a spiritual conduit. It was a pillar of an ancient economy. Its extinction marked not only the loss of a great biological species, but also as a symbolic disconnection from divine protection. In other words, we can't have nice things. Today in Silphium, we have the inspiration of many mystics, scientists, and romantics alike who look back at the past, who look back at the history, and wonder if we can ever enjoy this again. Whether hidden in a remote corner of the earth or forever in the realm of myth, Silphium continues to be a symbol of how humanity treats its sacred gifts, with wonder, reverence, and all too often, eventual ruin. Thank you for joining me in this sacred hour. This, of course, has been the Unrelenting Alchemist. And remember, there's a divine spark in each of you that makes each one of you a budding, unrelenting alchemist. So until next time, walk wisely, walk bravely, and when the dark calls, answer not with fear, but with fire and light. And if you find Sylphium, give it the respect it deserves. Put some respect on that name.
And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you.